Hello everyone, welcome to today's class, and today's title is An Unadvisable Altercation. Let's move on to language focus. 1번. Korea has a well-deserved reputation for being a polite society. Okay, so as we can see here, I have highlighted has a well-deserved reputation for, and that's what we'll concentrate on right now. So we use this to introduce some well-known aspect of a person, place, or thing. Now, the words well-deserved can be added to express agreement with the reputation. All right. So, what are we talking about here? Oops. So, have a reputation for. 뭐뭐라는, I should put like a little squiggly line out there. I'll just put a line there. There we go. All right. 평을 얻다, to get. Or 뭐뭐로 유명하다, to become well known or famous for something. All right? Has a very similar meaning. So if you look at our examples here. Professor Nazari has a reputation for working hard to help his students. So 나자리 교수는 학생들을 돕기 위해 열심히 일하는 것으로 정평이 나 있다. So Professor Nazari is a very good professor, and he is a good professor. Why? Because he has a reputation for working hard to help his students. That is his reputation. Or our next example, Seoul has a well-deserved reputation for having convenient transportation. So, 서울은 교통이 편리하기로 정평이 나 있다. So, if there's one thing Seoul is well known for, quite famous for, it's the good, or should I say fantastic, public transportation. The subways are very fast and usually on time. There are many stops that you can stop at. Same with buses. So it's quite easy compared to other countries to get around the city. So yes, have a reputation for. Now let's look at 2번. Okay, in particular, foreigners would be well advised to learn about one law known as Article 373. Okay, so our next language focus is would be well advised to. So we use this to strongly recommend an action. So it's kind of like you are strongly saying that this is a good idea or this is a bad idea to do something. Okay? So if I take this example here, where it says, drivers would be well advised to stop and rest if they feel sleepy at all. So 운전자들은 조금이라도 졸리면 멈추고 쉬는 것이 좋을 것이다. So obviously, the reason why we are strongly recommending this is because you want to avoid a car accident. You could simply say, it's recommended drivers stop and rest if they feel sleepy. But you can also say, drivers would be well advised to stop and rest if they feel sleepy at all. It would be a similar meaning of a sentence. Or, I think you would be well advised to start writing your research paper early. Okay, so everyone knows that writing a research paper takes a very, very long time. So, 나는 네가 일찍 연구 논문을 쓰기 시작하는 것이 좋을 것이라고 생각한다. Because usually research papers take an extremely long time. So remember, would be well advised to is to highly recommend something. Alright, now let's look at the language focus quiz. 1번. One of my many friends has a reputation for. Remember talking about having a reputation for something, right? 뭐뭐라는 병을 오다 or 뭐뭐로 유명하다 becomes well known for. So what would I write here for my language focus quiz? One of my friends has a reputation for being a jealous person. So 내 친구 중 한 명은 질투심 많은 사람으로 정병이 나 있다. So they have a well-known reputation for being a very jealous person. 2번. My hometown has a well-deserved reputation for, let's say, breeding livestock, where I come from. So, 우리 고향은 축구 기르기로 정편이 나 있다. Where I come from, there are a lot of cattle, cows, a lot of pig farms, etc., etc. 3번. People who want to be healthy would be well advised to. Remember, highly recommending something. Let's say simple. Exercise 4 times a week. Alright. 건강해지기를 원하는 사람들은 일주일에 4번 운동하는 것이 좋을 것이다. Minimum, they say. 4번. People who visit my country would be well advised to try the local food. So, 우리나라에 방문하는 사람들은 그 지역의 음식을 먹어보는 것이 좋을 것이다. Yes, try some of the local food wherever you go traveling. Alright, now let's look at the further discussion. 1번. How do you think police in your country would respond if you reported someone for sending a text message that said F you? 만약에 당신이 FU이라는 것은 문자를 보낸 사람을 신고했다면 당신의 나라 경찰은 어떻게 대응할 것이라고 생각하나요? I don't think they would care. It's not like, it's nothing. To be honest with you, it's very minor and it's wasting the police's time to report something so minor. I think the police would look at me and go, grow up, or so what? Who cares? Right? Just deal with your personal problems yourself. If you're a person who reported this, it's a bit odd in my opinion, and yeah, it's nothing to report to the police. Police have more important things to worry about than that. 2번. Are there any special laws in your country that foreigners need to be careful of? 당신의 나라에는 외국인들이 주의해야 할 특별한 법이 있나요? Special laws. I would say if we're talking about Australia, it's very important to stick to the laws. It's actually really important to maybe even research some of the laws in Australia before going there, especially if you're planning to drive, because I know that driving in South Korea and driving in Australia is very different in regards to laws. In Australia, driving is very, very, very strict. You can't go over the speed limit. Many people do, but you can't compared to like Korea, where people are less worried about police pulling them over. But in Australia, if you even do, let's say, 7 kilometers over the speed limit and a police officer sees you, they will stop you. And you must pay attention to all the traffic signs. So I would say if you're going to Australia, research on your road rules in Australia, because it will be very useful and you won't get, expensive fines, because in Australia they're quite expensive. It's not like in Korea. I had a fine in Korea that I accidentally sped, and I didn't know about it until like 4 years later, and it was still like 70,000 Korean won, like 7만 won. But in Australia, minimum, you'd probably get something like 150 or 15만 원, around that. So yeah. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's class, and I'll see you on the next class.
Cuss word.
Cuss word.
Defamation.
Defamation.
Drop the F-bomb.
Drop the F-bomb.
Gallop.
Gallop.
Plight.
Plight.
Aforementioned.
Aforementioned.